Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking something literally massive, the modern software engineering stack. We're going to look at how production-grade apps are actually designed, built, scaled, and secured out there in the wild. Because, let's face it, the apps we rely on every single day, from your banking app to your favorite streaming service to healthcare platforms, they're all powered by this incredible labyrinth of engineering decisions, and it goes way, way beyond just picking a programming language. To kick things off, it is endlessly fascinating to look at the fundamental shift in perspective between a beginner and an expert. It's so easy to look at an application and just see the code. But when you zoom out, you start to see this entire interconnected system of invisible machinery. You see how that code is tested, how the infrastructure scales up when traffic spikes, how the data is actually protected, and ultimately how the business goals are met. It completely changes how you think about building things. So here is our blueprint for today. First, we'll look beyond the code. Then we'll dive into the core application layers, followed by infrastructure and delivery. After that, we'll tackle security, scale, and observability. And finally, we'll wrap up with the future stack. Let's just jump right in.
All right, Section 1, Beyond the Code. This is where we explore the product layer.
You see, engineering doesn't actually start with opening up a code editor, it starts with a problem. A simple personal blog has vastly different constraints than, say, a high-stakes healthcare booking platform where losing a record is an absolute disaster. That's exactly why the question we ask at the beginning is so crucial. Instead of asking, which shiny new framework should I use, you really need to ask, what kind of system am I actually building? Knowing if your system is going to be read-heavy, write-heavy, globally distributed, or highly regulated, well, that is what truly shapes your entire engineering stack right from top to bottom. Moving on to Section 2, the core application layers. Here we'll be looking at the UI, the API, the backend, and the data. Starting right at the front-end engineering is no longer just slapping together some HTML and a little CSS. Think about the sheer number of responsibilities we're dealing with now. Complex state management, client-side routing, heavy API integrations, strict accessibility standards, performance optimization, and graceful error handling. Honestly, a confusing, slow, or just poorly designed user interface can completely destroy the utility of even the most brilliantly architected backend. Now, connecting that front end to the back end is the API layer. Think of APIs as the digital handshakes or binding contracts that connect our systems together. A good API, whether you're using REST, GraphQL, or gRPC, is clear, it's stable, it's versioned, and it's secure. But a bad one? It's a tangled mess. Fragile API contracts create massive long-term pain for enterprises because they make your systems incredibly difficult to safely evolve over time. And behind those APIs sits your backend logic. This layer is entirely about system design and making the right trade-offs. Building a monolith is incredibly fast and great for getting a startup off the ground. Microservices, on the other hand, empower large enterprises to give independent teams true ownership over different functional pieces of the app. And serverless, that offers brilliant event-driven scaling. So it's all about picking the right architectural trade-off for your specific business workflows. Below all of that is the absolute foundation, the data layer. Data decisions are notoriously hard to reverse, which is exactly why senior engineers obsess over them. You might need relational SQL for strict consistency, NoSQL for flexible scaling, object storage for all your files and backups, or even vector databases to power modern AI and semantic search. You don't just pick what's trendy here, you pick exactly what aligns with your data's retention, indexing, and consistency needs. All right, Section 3, Infrastructure and Delivery. This is all about where and how our code actually runs. Today, we generally don't manually configure servers. We define our cloud environments entirely through code, using tools like Terraform. And to get our app onto that infrastructure, we rely on the CI/CD pipeline. Imagine this as an automated conveyor belt that handles everything. It does the linting, runs static analysis and automated tests, performs security scanning, containerizes the app, and pushes it all to staging with approval gates. This is literally the engine that allows modern companies to release software daily, or even hourly, without constantly fearing they're going to break everything.
Embedded right inside that pipeline is testing. And this hits on a massive misconception in the industry. Testing is a core part of development, absolutely not an afterthought. Unit tests, integration tests, and chaos testing, where you essentially break your own system on purpose, these are critical risk management tools. They exist to prevent absolute business disasters, like accidentally dropping an entire database of appointments or double charging a customer's credit card.
Next up is Section 4, Security, Scale, and Observability. This is how we protect and operate the system.
These are your non-functional requirements. Think of them as the highly trained security guards and maintenance crews of your app. Security is not some magical padlock you just slap on at the very end of development. It's woven into every single layer. Think about the stack here. You need XSS protection on the front end, rate limiting at the API to prevent abuse, strict secrets management in the back end, encryption at rest in the database, and least privilege access policies across your entire infrastructure. It has to be a comprehensive top-to-bottom strategy.
So, when things are actually running, how do you know what's happening? Traditional monitoring just tells you if a system is up or down, but observability? That lets you investigate complex partial failures. It relies on three main pillars: logs, which tell you exactly what happened; metrics, which show system behavior over time; and traces, which track a single request's journey as it hops across dozens of different microservices.
There is a really great CTO-level maxim for this. A system that cannot be observed cannot be operated professionally. If your checkout service is randomly failing for, say, 5% of your users, and you don't have structured logs and distributed tracing set up, your engineers are literally just guessing. Observability turns guessing into knowing. Now, regarding scale, it is a constant balancing act. Over-engineering early, like trying to build a Netflix-level architecture for your day one startup, that just slows teams down with unnecessary complexity. But under-engineering late causes massive outages when traffic inevitably spikes. Scalability techniques like caching, sharding, and load balancing are incredibly powerful, but the real trick is applying them at the exact right time, not a moment too soon.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the Future Stack. Here we're exploring developer experience and the new AI layer.
First up is developer experience, or DevX, which is driven by platform engineering. Instead of having every single product team reinvent the wheel, dedicated platform teams build internal tools and what we call golden paths. This means providing reusable templates with built-in logging, standardized security, and automated deployments. It means product developers can stop fighting their local environments and actually start shipping business value faster. Faster onboarding, happier developers.
Then we have the AI layer. Traditional functions return predictable, deterministic outputs, but AI-native applications are fundamentally probabilistic, meaning an LLM might give you a slightly different answer every single time you ask it a question. This shifts the engineering paradigm entirely. It demands totally new patterns for prompt management, retrieval-augmented generation, human-in-the-loop testing, and strict observability to keep things safe and cost-effective.
Let's see how this all harmonizes in a real-world scenario, like an online learning platform. Step 1, the user logs into the UI. Step 2, the API securely verifies their identity. 3, the backend queries the database for their courses. 4, a cache kicks in to speed up that data delivery. 5, the new AI layer suggests their next customized learning path. And 6, observability tools are quietly monitoring this entire journey for any errors. It's all the layers working in perfect sync.
As we pull all of this together, remember one key thing. The best engineers do not chase trendy tools. They understand trade-offs. The most common mistakes we see in the modern stack are choosing a technology before you even fully understand the actual business problem, ignoring the developer experience, or assuming DevOps is just a fancy deployment script rather than a core cultural focus on reliability.
For those of you looking to conquer this massive stack, the real secret is sequential learning. Seriously, don't just jump around randomly trying every new framework. First, build a working app. Second, learn to structure its architecture properly. Third, figure out how to test and automatically deploy it. Only then, step 4, learn how to secure and monitor it in production. And finally, step 5, learn how to scale it up and improve your processes.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. As you continue your journey in tech, take a step back and ask yourself, are you just typing out code, or are you actually engineering professional production-grade systems? Understanding this full, modern stack is exactly what unlocks that next professional level. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep building brilliant systems.